Hello and welcome back to the Sideskip Gaming Podcast, episode 144. My name is Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. And boys,
Ahoy!
Ahoy! It's been a while.
It's been a minute. We had a busy month.
Busy month. You guys came down for my birthday. We partied.
I was in Canada.
James went to Canada. Went to a whole different country, whole different land.
Is it not really though?
It's like,
It's
like
the
a
same thing, except for Quebec.
It's like a step sibling, We're like, yeah, you're kind of related, but you're not fully related.
It's like you're trying to be America, but you're not.
Exactly.
Wow. I think America's just trying to be Canadian.
Wow. Touche.
Think about it.
But enough about Canada, because we will never speak of the Canadians again on this podcast, because this is the 44th episode of the Sideskip Gaming Podcast. Canada got me a little bit, I'm so sorry. Once a week, we Discord or 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. This week, we're talking about space. A big space game came out, and I've played a lot of it. And Ted, you've played a different space game.
Oh, I have played a different space game.
And we're going to talk about that. Right? Now, the biggest space game on the market, Ted, you were one of the first people to play it. What did you play?
Oh, me first. Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about you, because I want to talk about Starfield a lot, so I feel like let's get your stuff out of the way.
He's going to start rambling. Okay. So I, on a complete whim, caught wind of an early access game that came out August 21st. Bought it, downloaded it, checked out the basics. It's called Jump Light Odyssey, currently on early access Steam. It is basically, if you played, do you remember Faster Than Light, FTL?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great game.
It is basically, if you played that and went, I wish there was more. So the game is structured exactly the same way. It is a roguelike in which your little spaceship is running away towards the right side of the screen from a big red wall of scary bad guys. Okay. And you're jumping to little planets along the way. Basically FTL 1 for 1. The difference is that your spaceship that we're talking about is a full-on, like 3D modeled, fully crewed spaceship. So you start the game with there's 6 decks, 80 crew members, and all of the Star Trek, words that you can see. And your job is to build out, repair and build out. Well, not Klingon, but repair and build out your ship. So you can build it almost like a city builder. You can build your own medical bay, or place it closer to the turbo lift if you want. You have to build. And so you are bouncing from planet to planet, collecting resources of various kinds and survivors or civilians, whatever they are, building out your ship, and then ultimately trying to get to the end, which I think is called the Forever Star or something. It's very much in early access. There's definitely a lot of things that need to be tweaked about it. There's not really a lot of, after the tutorial, it doesn't explain a lot. So there are a lot of questions that I would like to see answered kind of in patches or maybe in an encyclopedia. But the overall loop of pausing the game and trying to build your perfect spaceship is fantastic.
Very cool.
It is really cool. And it's really cool to see a full on 3D ship. You'll get, some random stuff. You'll get attacked by pirates, and it's literally all right, which deck did they get on? Oh shit, okay, they're here. Let's manually close the doors and open the airlock and try and vent them out into space.
Wow,
that's cool.
Those. Oh, go ahead.
Is it you're still kind of top down looking at the ship and going level by level, or are you walking around the ship?
No. So you are top down. Think of a strategy game.
So still FTL view, top down in the ship.
Not straight top down.
Side
it's
view?
3D. Yeah, whatever the 3D RTS view is, the God view.
I know
God view. Okay.
But you can fully rotate the ship and look around. And like I said, it's fully 3D. And pretty much, from what I can understand, most of the things that you would just off the wall, think up about a space game, opening the airlock to try and vent all the air out of a certain deck. All of that stuff's there. I haven't played too much of it, or I should say I haven't gotten to any significantly difficult bits.
Okay.
But there's a lot in the game that makes me believe that there's going to be some pretty tough stuff. There's a lot of medical bay options. There's a lot of like crew member ailments and stuff like that. So
it gets deep.
yeah, think like a not to maybe the extent of a Dwarf Fortress, but like your crew can get depressed and have low morale, or they can like be knocked out and then be permanently slow for the rest of their lives, and they're just a slower crew member. All that kind of stuff is there. So I think it's a really cool kind of start to the next generation, no pun intended, of FTL games.
So how early access is it? Where it's like, is it like Hades early access where you play like one level and there's obviously supposed to be 5 levels and you're only allowed to access one?
So I have not gotten to the Forever Star. I'm not sure how flushed out the actual roguelike trail is. From what I understand, it is fully there. There are definitely some things they have. Their roadmap is looking to add. The biggest one being you only have one ship, the kind of like campaign story ship, and with one main character who's like the princess of the planet that you're running from, whatever.
Gotcha.
And they intend to add a whole bunch of more ships, and I'm guessing a whole bunch of small stuff along the way. We'll probably see like, you know, aliens or like more random encounters, little things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool. Recommend it if you're something of a Trekkie or just like management roguelikes.
That sounds kind of, no, that actually sounds kind of cool because FTL is a great game. So then just adding more on top of it, it's almost like, it sounds like played up to Overcooked, kind of what it did, trying to like, just add like a dynamic to it of it.
I would say it's significantly more of a jump just because this is much more like I spent most of my time playing this game just paused and just like staring at the ship, just being like, what's the best? What can I do?
I mean,
here?
that's how a lot of FTL is like for the game. It's a lot of pause, like think about like what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Is it similar into where like you can like put points into shield or put points into like your weapons or stuff like that?
Yes, but think of it less in terms of like a roguelike where you're just putting points, and think of it much more like a city builder where like you have to build like a shield generator core, and that will generate, you know, you'll put that somewhere on the ship and then link that to the shields, and then that will increase your shields.
Okay.
Cool.
You know, yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, what was it called again? Can you say the name of it?
Jump Light Odyssey.
Jump Light Odyssey. How much is it?
I will also, it's I believe 20 or $25, something like that.
Okay.
And it has this what I have come to it's I believe it is actually. It's got full controller support for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why there's full controller support. But it also has a really cute like 80s anime / Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic, which I think was a very fun call.
Interesting.
I would not have expected that.
No.
Yeah, it is not going for serious. It's going much for like a Saturday morning cartoon, and I think it's
that
doing it well.
Makes me sound more interested in it knowing there's a cool art style rather than it just being gray ships on a semi-realistic plane.
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm looking at it right now, Jake. It has a really cool
Light Jump Odyssey.
Yeah. So, and I do want to shout out the
Jump Light Odyssey.
The game is real time. Yeah. So the game is real time, which is really neat. So you pause the game, and the countdown timer that the big enemy bad guys are chasing you after is like a live timer.
Okay.
So it's like you have 15 minutes counting down, and then you jump to the next spot. And it's like you've gained 6 minutes, and then you're counting down. The play, pause, and speed up buttons for your real time. Do the VHS like, and like when it pauses, it does the whole like, you know, VHS pausing.
Yeah.
It's a fun aesthetic. I really like it. I'm really excited for what comes next in their roadmap.
You want to talk about Starfield? No, you guys want to talk?
Yeah, let's talk about space.
Let's talk about space. Ted, you have played Zero Starfield.
I have. It is downloaded and ready to go. I just haven't played it yet.
You haven't played it yet. Is it out today for the Scrubs?
It came out yesterday for the Scrubs.
Okay.
Yesterday evening.
Monday the 5th.
5 days ago for the audience watching at home.
Yeah. James, you've played Starfield.
Yeah, I'm probably like 3 or 4 hours in.
3 or 4 hours in? Okay, I'm 22 hours in.
Yeah,
Jesus
Christ.
Just
a little bit ahead of me.
Just a little bit ahead of you.
Are you doing like pure main story, or have you been?
I'm all over the map. I'm all over the map.
Okay.
I want to know your first impressions of the first 3 hours, and then we'll talk a lot about it, because Starfield's a fucking weird game.
Yeah, first 3 hours are slow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty slow, like, I kind of want to do things, and it's not letting me do things, but I think it's fine. Like, it's just like, it's forcing you on this path.
Yeah.
Can you define slow for me?
I don't want to spoil too much, but you have like these mandatory like kind of like blocks that you have to hit before you can actually like kind of like open up and do your own thing.
I
And
was
that's
gonna
not
say, so
that's
are
not
you
real
just kinda
typical. Or no, but that's not real
Yeah.
typical of like let's say a Fallout game. Like let's say the slowness of a Fallout game is you escaping the vault and then go do whatever you want.
Right. So
Yeah.
Or
what
Skyrim
you-
is like
yeah,
the
there's a
first
prolonged
cutscene, go.
there's a prolonged prologue
Yeah.
in that like you are stuck in a linear story for a while before it opens up of just like go
Kind
be an
of.
open world game.
Kind of.
Yeah, you have some
There's a-
freedom, but not too much.
There's a moment where you could just go do whatever you want. However, the
Uh-huh.
game has not taught you how to do anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Okay.
be able to do much.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
you
Okay.
you're given the keys to the kingdom moment, like in Fallout exiting the vault, but then you're like, but I don't know what the fuck to do, so I might as well just keep doing the main story stuff to like figure out how to
Oh,
play
I
the
see.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of locks you into playing the main story unless you are kind of free of that burden. Like,
Right.
knowing what to do. So James, are you still kind of in that story-ish moments of trying to figure out just learning how to play essentially?
Let's see. I got. I'm doing mainly the main quest. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm probably on that first planet.
The
you
constellation
go to.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing some side. I did all. I know not every single side mission there, but I did a couple stuff
Okay.
there. It was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably like just a little bit past that with the one lady on my ship.
Yep.
And this is the one thing that I didn't realize is like you can pick these traits like as in every single Fallout game, but
Mhm.
there's like specific ones where it's like you could be a loner, which that was typically like a perk in Fallout, like the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
But now it's like, hey, you can have this option of like you get a buff if you're by yourself, or you can get a buff if you have no crew or you have crew.
hmm
And I picked like the one without because I'm trying to I'm doing my guy is I'm doing a brawler like the
Okay.
martial artist.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of want to be like a loner, like just like punch everything,
Yeah.
and it sucks when you have to be forced to like carry people on for missions, and I was like, well,
There are certain missions you have to carry people, but then like
I
once
wish
you
I-
do them, they leave your party.
right,
Yeah.
but it's just like, damn, I shouldn't have picked it so early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going slow, like I was
Mhm.
saying, and you are exactly right where it's like it doesn't really tell you like much in the beginning. Like you it's just assumed. Like if you had never played like a video game, this would be really tough. Because
Yeah.
there's like so much you gotta like instinctively know, like based on like having played a Bethesda game, even like
Yeah.
weapon utilization, inventory management, and it's all still like it's really like doesn't tell you much.
I mean,
Like, go here, do
it
this.
tells you nothing. To be
Yeah.
like almost like completely honest, it's actually like kind of astounding how little of a tutorial there is. It's like
It-
less than Elden
yeah.
Ring.
Even like the ship tutorial, like how to like work the ship, it's just like, hey, go at it.
Yeah.
Hey, go use it.
Yeah,
You
like
got this.
I like took a chunk of time one morning to literally just learn how to build a ship. Like I literally was like, I'm
Oh,
just
I
gonna
haven't
learn
gotten
how to
that
do
there
the
yet.
shipbuilding. Like not using a mission to teach me. It was like I had to
Right.
just go into the shipbuilder and be like, I'm gonna figure this out. Like how does this all work?
Like Kerbal Space Program your ship.
yeah.
Just-
So that's like the weird part about Starfield to me is that it teaches you kind of nothing, but then that almost becomes the game. Is like you're in this universe trying to figure out how this universe works.
Which
Which
is
is-
fine because
yeah.
I like to be immersed and like figure things out on my own. Like with the Fallout type game, like I really was immersed in Fallout 4,
Mhm.
and this is like it's leading me there. But there's just so much I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the game. Really, it's just like there's so much I don't know, and I don't want to like go and figure it out. Like look it up what to do, or I'm just going through main story right now and figuring out like what I want to
Go after.
set my teeth in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure on ship combat. It's been really good, surprisingly, for like mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
I'm playing on PC. I know you're playing on
I'm
Xbox.
playing on Xbox. Yeah.
Which how's that?
Yeah. So I'm playing on the Series S, and it's totally fine. I have not run into one
Okay.
issue. I mean, it's a Bethesda game, so stuff happens, and you just
It's an Xbox game.
and it's an Xbox game, but like
Yeah.
this game is a Bethesda game, and like I built a ship, and then like there are ladders but I kept falling through a particular like hole under a ladder, and
Right.
it would just put me in my cockpit, so I couldn't go up the ladder. It would just kept. So it's like stuff like that happens in a Bethesda game
Just-
constantly.
Yeah.
Um.
Surprisingly little bugs though. Like
Yeah,
that
surprising
come
little
across.
bugs. Like
Yeah.
really
Well,
not a lot.
James, space is really big, so the bugs are just spread out.
Just really far away from each other.
I've tried.
yeah,
I've tried
exactly.
as much as I can to like do some like breaking stuff, but it's pretty well polished on stuff.
Yeah,
I think there's one issue I did have where it was like me trying to figure out like I had so many like mission blips on the constellation and I was like, how the fuck do I like just focus on one mission? Because there's all these ones I need to do, and I figured it out. But it was just like it doesn't really tell you. It's like, hey, this is how you just select this mission and not have like your mini map be like absolutely awful. By the way,
Oh yes,
But,
yeah, that's a big complaint.
the mini map is awful. Like it is like the worst.
There's
thing
like
ever. It's
no
just-
maps in this game.
no, there's no map. There's just blips in a circle. So it's like it's in that direction. There's no compass. There's no little map. That direction though, and you'll find some
Like,
something.
Ted, when you land on a planet, you try to access a map to look at like the terrain of the planet and everything. There is no map. So when
No.
you go into like a city, there is no map of the city. It just
It's
shows
the planet.
you, like that there are like not even that there are vendors or anything. Like nothing of like that is on a map whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
It's space, man. You got to explore.
Space, man. It
It's
is.
not gonna be a
Think you'd
map
have
for
a
everything you go to
refined
in
map
space?
system though.
This game is like such a
I know.
Bethesda game too. Like it's just another like. I think people like, were expecting something different than what like a Bethesda in a game in space was, and if that's the mentality you go into it with it, it's great. It's just it's a Bethesda adventure in space.
It's just another
Yeah.
Bethesda game, which is
Awesome.
what we all wanted, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I didn't want anything different, and honestly, there's not much different. It's just like a nice little reskin, like a little bit updated.
Yeah.
I still hear some little Fallout noises in here now and then, which is it's nice to hear.
So I
yeah.
want to talk about complaints with James because I feel like James, you'll see a lot of these complaints in the first bit, and then talk about some positives, and then I want us to get Ted to kind of ask questions, things you're curious about with Starfield. Maybe that would be a good way to spark conversation. James,
Mhm.
so Starfield, they're a big game,
Yes.
they're a weird game. You've also have you played? Oh, you haven't played any Baldur's Gate yet, so this won't mean much to you. Have you? How many times have you become encumbered in this game, James, so far?
I'm close. Like I've been
Okay.
watching it. There was a point where I was like on the Constellation and doing like some of the side missions, and I didn't realize like, you could steal shit in Fallout 4, and like I didn't realize like if I steal something like it just gets seized and I had to pay a fine.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a little bit like Skyrim Morrowind-esque, and I was like, oh, that's not
Well,
my. Typical.
If you get the stealth perk, then you can
Yeah.
crouch and get hidden. Because Ted, in this
Mhm.
game, a lot of your basic actions are locked behind perks that you have to unlock.
Mm-hmm.
Like crouching and sneaking, that's a perk.
Mm-hmm.
If you just crouch without that perk, there's no sneaking option. You
Mhm.
cannot do stealth.
Mhm.
There's a boost pack that you get. They've shown in like you jumping and boosting like a jetpack around. That's a
Mhm.
perk you have to unlock to get the boost pack.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't like when you level up a perk, you have to like do like a battle pass type thing, like jump 20 times.
yeah,
like
there's challenges for
shoot
the
your gun.
perks.
There's challenges for the perks. I'm like, oh my, just let me level it up. I don't want to have to like do this like quirky stuff just to level up my perk.
Yeah, I got into a moment where like so in this game when you're flying around space, pirates will attack you, and if you
Yeah.
kill the pirate ship or disable it, you can board their ship, kill the pirates, and take the ship. It's fucking rad.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that today. Killed all these pirates. I was gonna take this ship. My piloting level wasn't high enough to fly this type of ship, so I was like, oh well, I have a skill point. I'll just put it in there. But I hadn't destroyed enough ships for the challenge to unlock the perk
Yeah,
to allow me to fly the ship. So I just had to leave the ship.
yeah,
was
that's my biggest gripe so far. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to do all these little challenges to level up.
Repeat that one more time. You needed to blow up a certain number of ships.
Yeah, so there's like
level up your
every
piloting perk.
every perk has a challenge associated with every level.
Right.
So like for instance, like pistol efficiency. It has like a kill 10 people with a pistol. Then you
Right.
can with a skill point you can unlock tier 2. Then
Yep.
tier 2 will have like a kill 50 people with a pistol. Then tier 3 will unlock and you can use your point to like unlock that for your character. But there are like stuff blocking it. And that's why like this game, once you're 15 hours in, becomes awesome. Because you've learned all the systems, you've leveled up all your character and like the little things that you need, and it just
Now you
becomes,
can play the game.
Now you can play. It
Yeah,
just
that's what I
becomes
always hear. That's
awesome.
what I've heard.
Now you can finally play the game.
It's one of those games where you're like, dude, first 10, 15 hours, they're good, they're slow.
Yeah.
Wait, because it's cooking. It's awesome. It's like it's just a Bethesda game with way more to go do and see than ever before. I think my biggest thing though with Bethesda, and it's always kind of been this way, they've always kind of made their games in a vacuum, where like Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 came out like in the same year. And like
Mhm.
the quality of storytelling through The Witcher 3, like how their characters interacted, and like how characters interact in a Bethesda game is like kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
still the way it is. So
Yep.
like
Yep.
it's still like talking to like a robot all the time.
Mhm.
And like, you know, they like turn around and they're like,
Yeah, there's literally a robot that you.
well, yeah, you're literally
Yeah.
a robot. But I mean, like all the people in this world feel like you're talking to robots. I know there's literally a robot.
Yeah, they fixed the problem.
Hey Jake,
They
that's a
fixed the
robot, by the way.
Oh, Vasco's not a man? He always was weird looking.
That's just a robot.
Oh, no. But everyone that turns around to you is like, hello, like, hello, deputy. Like, you ready to go take down the space pirates? Space pirates are pretty bad.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Jake. Not you're my biggest fan who comes and sees me.
No, he's great. He's great.
He is wonderful.
Yeah. No, he's great. That's a great. There's a perk, Ted, when you get your like start your character, and one of the perks is called like an adoring fan or something.
Oh, I've seen this in a video.
It's
yeah.
the Morrowind or Oblivion. I can't remember where that little elf guy's from.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and he just like runs around. He like finds you every once in a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
he finds you.
Yeah, and then you can put him on your crew, and then he hangs out with you all the time, and
Yeah.
you'll walk by
I
him.
told him
and
to
his-
fuck off.
Oh,
So we'll see what
no.
happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what. Yeah.
I told him get on the ship. He has some great lines about like, do you think they're writing about your autobiography right now, and they'll mention you walking by me right now? It's just like some really like the game is
Yeah.
really funny. There's some great laugh out loud
It,
moments.
Jake's doing the voice perfectly. That's literally
how he
the voice.
talks.
It's like Shakespearean, like
It's like,
type
did
of.
you
like,
know who I am?
Did you know? Yeah.
I'm your biggest
great.
fan. Yes, but I would say that like compared to Baldur's Gate 3 or like RPGs that we played recently, even Cyberpunk, it's weird to talk to characters like this still.
Yeah.
Where like they'll be engaged in a conversation, you'll walk over to them and like, you know, they're busy, and then they like whip around and go, oh, and like it zooms in really
Hello.
close to their face. Hello there, and you're like, it's like Jesus, man, your fucking eyes
Yeah.
are terrifying. So that is like the one thing where I think like Bethesda needs to not do this system anymore.
Mhm.
Like
They're
I know,
still, they're still in the past on that.
yeah, like it's just a weird way to convey story in an RPG where we are now.
Mhm.
But Ted, I want to know your Starfield questions as you begin your journey. Do you have questions? Do you want to know more things about things, or are you kind of going in blind?
You know, a part of me wants to go in blind,
Okay.
to a
I
certain
think that's
degree.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the magic of a Bethesda game comes from just kind of what you guys are talking about, of just going out there and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, some of the highest highs of Skyrim and Oblivion and Fallout are just, I found a guy and I followed him, and it was this weird quest, and you know, it's kind of that.
Yeah.
I've
That's-
looted
that's
so
special-
much.
Yeah, that specialized
I have to look at
experience.
every single nook and cranny for an object. It's great.
Yeah.
Looting's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking a lot about Fallout 4. I think that was their last big one, right?
76, technically.
Yeah, but you haven't played it.
A bit like James.
76.
Do we need
It's
to?
Fallout 4 online. No, you
We
don't.
got Starfield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Starfield.
I'm in the
We got Starfield.
Starfield.
But,
now.
but it's not co-op. So we now if you feel the itch for co-op, let's do 76.
Okay. All right. I mean, you did win a bet where we have to play 76, but we'll never do it.
Yeah,
We
just like
stand-
Castlevania.
We stand our ground.
Anyway, no, but so the two things I was thinking about,
I'm listening.
A, looting, B, shipbuilding. Both of the things in Fallout 4, kind of looting to get base building going, a lot of people thought was a janky mess.
Yeah.
And they were right, because it was.
Yes.
Has that been improved? Do you guys feel like looting for basic materials and then turning those basic materials into, you know, whatever the game wants you to, into systems? Is that
Almost
a
the
slog?
exact same.
It feels
No,
like
it's not slog.
In a good way or in a bad way?
I think gathering materials is easier in Starfield.
Yes.
Okay.
That being
That's
said,
what I
I have not touched the outpost system
Okay.
whatsoever.
Right, and that's
Um,
different from shipbuilding. That's like
yeah.
actually building a little outpost.
an
Can you
outpost on a
store
planet.
on your ship?
Yes. So this is like the
Okay.
game's fundamental problem.
Mhm.
Is that the inventory system is like super limiting.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
only carry, and this is my big complaint with all Bethesda games.
Right.
You can only carry a certain amount of weight of items, and every item has a
Or
weight.
get a perk to increase it.
Or you
as
get a perk,
usual.
but it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to spend perks on inventory space when I can spend perks on flying new kinds of starships.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like
that is very true.
I feel dumb when I'm
You're
like,
limited by the perk system.
yes, And that's why Skyrim is the best perk system, level up system ever in an RPG.
Because everything levels up.
Everything levels up when you do it. And that's how
Yes.
games should be played. Anyways, not the point of this. The point is the inventory system. So you have like a limited number of inventory. Your companions have inventory. So they all become basically packing mules as you loot things around the universe.
Oh.
And then your ship has cargo. But your ship has a cargo limit too, because that's a big part of shipbuilding is how many cargo bins can you
Right.
put on your ship. So the inventory system is very limiting. Especially I think when we have games nowadays where like there's not really inventory caps. Like we just let you hold all your items and it's okay. Like Zelda, there's no inventory cap. Cat's like freaking out. We have like a lot of games that don't involve that. I mean, Elden Ring, you're not like stuck holding things forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem for me in this game. Is like I'm encumbered. Now I'm going to spend a bunch of time to figure out how to get unencumbered. So
Right.
It's like one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I have not played the game, and I would say that in a defense, like the idea of building a cargo ship does kind of fall in line with kind of a sci-fi fantasy world.
It does.
And I can see that. On the flip side, you're in space. Why can you not just teleport all of your backpack items into your ship and not have to worry about it?
Yeah,
Boom,
why
done.
does your ship really need a limit? Like,
Yeah.
right. Like that for me is like that's where we're getting granular on this detail as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm, I James, you're our best resource here, but I'm sure a computer scientist could tell you that like there's an actual like RAM capacity problem of like if you're holding too much stuff, it might break the game. Bethesda games are pretty janky. I don't actually know. People have modded out encumbered weights in every other Bethesda game that's been,
and they will in this game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That said, like I don't know how that would be because you can go and just put stuff in a box and it'll just sit there forever. So it's like
that's not a plausible reason. I'm just
I know what you're
spitballing.
saying. So that is
yeah,
kind of a
like-
big issue.
Because you saying that, like my goal would be to build a big ass cargo ship because that's just I want to be a space trucker, right? So kind of falls in line. But yeah, I totally understand backpack space being just a real pain in the butt.
One of your opening life choices, Ted, in this game can be Space Trucker, by the way.
You're
That's
goddamn right.
Literally
it can be.
one of them.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. But no. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of shitty nowadays. I especially in Bethesda games where it's not like you're having a problem of like I have too many epic swords. It's literally like my junk category is full.
My helium I've got too much helium in my pocket.
Yeah, do I just throw out all of these paint cans or maybe these duct tape? No, I need duct tape for something. I don't remember what, but it was something.
I'm collecting all the pens.
Yeah. Are you collecting all the pens? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, they're 0.01 weight, so just
there you
grab
go.
them.
I saw someone store an entire room full of potatoes. That's been like circling Reddit. Is like he just had hundreds of potatoes in one room.
Yeah,
Nice.
There you go.
Probably sell those potatoes on another planet.
Yeah. That is really great about this game though, is that the collection system and like collecting stuff and like building an outpost and like I've seen people putting like all the plushies that you can find from like around the world, like the stuffed animals in their outposts, like on their bed or like on their console in their cockpit. Dude, shipbuilding is so cool.
Good.
It works so well. You can make so many crazy designs. Yo.
I don't want to spoil too much, but I do have a question.
Sure.
If I wanted to, could I build a B-wing bomber? Is there asynchronous shipbuilding, or does the cockpit have to be in the center? Can I build the Millennium Falcon?
No,
Yes.
cockpit does not need to stay in the center.
Yes. All right. My space truck just got way
I didn't
cooler.
know if like you meant like having wings like up and the down, but I assume you probably can.
No. The asymmetric, like Star Wars is famous for its asymmetrical ship design. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes to space,
The final frontier, some would call it.
Which, as we know, is big. How does it feel? Like part answer this. Like in fiction, how do you space travel?
There's something
are you fast traveling?
Yes, there's something called a grav drive, and it like cuts the space. It looks like.
Okay, but in practice, is it just pick a point on the map? Boop, you're there.
Yes. So this game does have the ability to fly from point A to point B, and to land near stuff on a planet, but it's not like No Man's Sky where that's like fast.
Okay.
It's not like where you're like going into a planet and then it becomes like all around you and you can like go down. It's like it's gonna take a fucking long time to fly down to this planet without quick traveling. So it's like you just kind of are
like in the
around.
spirit of realism.
I think so.
Okay.
but then you can just fast travel. So like, why not just make it kind of faster so I can fly into a planet?
Okay, and so there is like fast travel to surface type thing.
Yeah, you just like find a location. You can either do it on your star map or you can like do it while flying your ship and like click on something and click land, and then it'll just cutscene it down to landing on the planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is my. I think one big part too is like I'm a little bummed that it's not like No Man's Sky in that sense of like flying in and out of planets. I quick travel all the time. I just bop around.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it not a month ago about like a good open world game makes you not want to fast travel.
Yeah, and
so the fact that Bethesda just leans into it is like,
dude, Ted, this game loves putting you in menus, bro. This game loves its menus. It thinks its menus are great, and you know what? Bethesda's never been really good at making a great menu.
No, they have not,
and it shows.
Yeah,
it's ass.
Yeah, like this is the one time I'm like, man, I wish we just had the Destiny template menu where like I could see my equipment attached and.
Right.
No, we don't
just
do that.
streamline it.
I need like a Fallout menu mod. I'm just so used to that like really shitty screen and just like
the Pip-Boy.
There. Yeah.
James wants a Pip-Boy, not the cool Starfield watch.
No, they'll give me that watch.
I'm sure that'll be DLC, James. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Ted, very cool thing that you can do. It's not really spoiling, but you can just while you're flying your ship in space, just exit your cockpit and just walk around your ship. And,
that's very cool.
Look out, like you can place portholes in your ship and like look out the portholes.
Yeah. That's really cool and really immersive.
Yeah.
And then you tell me that like maybe it's in the name of realism, but yeah, then it's like, all right, well, let's just fast travel because it's going to take too long.
Right. That's what I'm like, dude, be safe. It's just like, let me hover over a planet and just fucking hang out.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's really hard to load, so I get it. I'm sure there's something there.
Right.
But I'm amazed at all the different possibilities, and all the different like mission structures that there is. Like in Skyrim, you can go to the Thieves Guild, you can go to whatever the Mage Academy and all this. There's very similar stuff like this.
There's a Mage Academy
in Skyrim. Yeah.
Oh no, in Starfield.
No, in Skyrim there's like I was trying not to spoil stuff from Ted, but
I got
you can basically go join like space cops. You can go join the pirates. You can do all this stuff. My one thing now playing like 15 hours of Baldur's Gate, everything in Baldur's Gate is like finite choices and like things that you do matter, and they'll cut off certain things from other story beats, and like, oh my god, we killed all of the sphinxes and now we're so sad. In Starfield you can just go do everything, and like you can be a pirate and a deputy at the same time.
Yeah.
And like the game doesn't care, and that takes a little bit out of, for me, like the role playing aspect of like I can just go be everything in this game like I did in Skyrim, and that just seems a little, I don't know. I feel like we're not there anymore with games, and so it's just kind of interesting. It just feels like a theme park I'm playing at, not a story I'm involved in.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about this. So I will say whenever I go back to Skyrim now, I just have a single save on my Switch account.
Whoa.
And whatever, it doesn't matter. I just load up that save. Doesn't matter what level I am or what I've been doing. And I'll just be like, you know what? I'm going to be a warrior right now. Even though my one-handed sucks because last time I played a mage. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it. And the game lets you do that. And it's fun. That being said, you talking about the perk system where like stealth is now a choice you have to put into makes me really think, and also you guys talk about not really having a tutorial. That all seems to fall right in line with Bethesda being like, we know you're going to play this game a million times. You're going to pick a million different characters to try a bunch of different, as we all do. We've all loaded up Skyrim and went, this time I'm going to be a battle mage. Right. And then you play for 20 minutes and you're like, this is stupid.
So apparently, not to cut you off, but apparently there is a big thing that happens in this game, and I have no idea what it's going on there. When you hit New Game Plus,
that's what I heard.
Is incredible and amazing, and will make you just want to instantly just play it again.
Okay.
I saw some things for it already, and I'm already looking forward to it.
Okay, so. I have no idea, and I don't want to know anything.
Yeah.
Is it a story spoiler or just something different?
I think like what you do in the story then will.
I was going to say, is it like
New Game Plus to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like you play as a different character and your character is still out there running around?
That's kind of what I was wondering. Is like, do they forever talk about your name and your character?
Cool.
So I have no idea, but so apparently, like you said, that replayability, that's kind of what they're going for. So that's why all these tools are there to teach you, and then I guess your next playthrough, you know the tools, and now you have all the perks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just that this game seems the beginning of this game and the overall structure seems very much tuned of like, we know you're going to play this again.
Yeah.
We know you don't want to have to run through the flaming village with the dragon every single time. We're just taking the reins off. And so you're right. It's like, well, if you're going to do that, like just let these choices be finite. Make it if you join the Thieves Guild.
Yes.
The cops aren't going to like you.
That's how I feel.
or even get creative with it and be like, if you get caught once, the cops will never like you because you're a known criminal.
Yeah.
Like little thing. I mean, video games are hard to make, but little things like that seem like right in line. So it does seem a little bit brain dead to then just keep it a classic Bethesda theme park.
Yeah.
I think a theme park is a great way to describe it.
It's what it feels like. It feels like what I do doesn't matter. It's all catered towards me.
Yeah.
Where like Baldur's Gate, I feel like I'm in someone else's story they're telling me, and I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, just like an example of that, I was like a deputy for the space police, basically the Rangers, and I'm on this like cyberpunk world called Neon. It looks very much like cyberpunk, and I'm entering a bar to like investigate this crime and talk to this person, and I accidentally talked to the wrong lady, and she's like, "Hey, like I'll join your crew. I'm like a hardcore gang member, and like I'm like bad, but I'll join your crew." And I was like, this doesn't just feel congruent to what I'm doing in this game right now. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't feel congruent to like walk out of the bar and then people be like, "You want to join our gang? Auditions are in the back." And you're like, "I'm a cop.
I'm a cop."
Like you literally just saw me interrogate someone, and you're like, "Want to be a part of our crew? It'd be cool." You're like that to me like takes me out a little bit. And then I'm like, "But I can make a spaceship, so we're cool."
Right. Well, yeah, and I wonder if that's kind of Bethesda's ideology of like,
I think it is
those people who want to role play. If you want to role play, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have to choose outside of the game. I'm going to be a goody two shoes police officer, and then it's on you. It's not on the game systems, which it's a choice.
Yeah, it's just
not really. You can't really fault them for that.
No, and I don't think it's bad. It just makes the experience a little less fluid sometimes.
Right.
But that's Bethesda in a nutshell. So.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk a lot more about Starfield. I love it. I'm in. I'm very excited to keep playing it. I think it's fantastic. I'm very excited to hear.
Yeah, one last question, I guess, because I'm trying not to spoil any like major story thing. This is the first Bethesda original IP in forever.
20-some years, yeah.
They've been making Elder Scrolls and Fallouts for a very long time now. How do you like the world, the universe, the galaxy of Starfield? Is it a fun place to be?
Yeah.
I heard it described in more of the Firefly-esque future, very grungy and human-y.
Yeah, it is. It's entirely human-y. It's very grungy, military-ish. It feels Firefly is like a good kind of example of, I guess, how it kind of feels slightly a little less like Western than Firefly, but they do have a Western town. Like they have all your towns that are like I said, they have the cyberpunk town. They've got the Western town. They've got the like humanity, utopia town.
Right.
So they nail all of the things you want from a sci-fi story, right?
Okay.
But I wouldn't say like I'm like wowed by the uniqueness of it. Like Skyrim is such a unique place. Like a lot of the Elder Scrolls, they're very unique lands that you're in.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is entirely like, whoa, this is crazy unique, but it's like a cool sci-fi universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to call back what James said earlier, you're not walking away from this going, oh man, their version of Klingons are sick. It's not. Yeah. They're just space pirates.
Yeah. They're just
space pirates.
The Crimson Fleet. How stereotypical sci-fi is that? That's their name.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's cool. Yeah. Are you in the Crimson Fleet? You gonna join the Crimson Fleet?
No.
No.
I'm a renegade.
Oh, very cool.
Punches cops and punches Crimson Fleet.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will say
I can't wait to level up my martial arts.
I love that you're just a punching machine. I think that's so fun.
I know.
I hope they have a little power glove thing that they have from Fallout where it just like launches people.
James, you and I might need to talk off camera to see if you can make this Chuck Norris build actually work.
We'll see.
So
the people have been asking Bethesda for decades now.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen some melee builds, but it's mostly like a sword build, and I'm not about weapons.
A lot of swords, a lot of axes. I'm picking up a lot of those.
Yeah, anything that goes over my fists, I'll take that. Okay, so like the power fist or something.
I'll let you know if I see anything out there.
Why would you want a melee weapon?
Some people want to do because you could do like a little Dishonored build, which people were like showing off.
Like teleport close to somebody and smack them.
Like jump down on someone and stab them.
Okay.
Can't teleport.
I'm just saying, you're in space. Space is big.
Yes. Space is big. A lot of guns.
The swing of a sword is not very big compared to space.
I'll switch my build next.
No. I need you to go completely.
No, I'm saying it's like
a space monk.
Next playthrough,
Game
he's
Plus.
gonna start do something different.
I'll go like a sniper build or something. Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
I mean, right now I have to use weapons because like you get nothing at the start. Like you can't not use weapons at the start.
Yeah. Speaking of that, main story, loosely, do we know an overall time to beat?
20 hours?
I think it's 20 hours in the main story.
Just
But
the
it's
main story.
Bethesda, so you're going to be distracted the whole way
I haven't
through.
done a lot of the
Yeah.
main story. Like
I've
I've done
already been
enough to
distracted.
get me out into the world and away from like James is locked with companions right now.
I'm locked.
Yeah.
You have to do like certain missions with a bunch of companions, and then the game's like, you can go here if you
Do
want.
what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's great. Also the intro I think is really fun, and I really like how you build your character in
I
this
like the
game.
intro.
Okay. That's good to hear. Yeah.
You're a fan of sci-fi stuff, you'll get a kick out of like the detail they put into building the character.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's really fun. Really recommend it. We're going to talk so much more about Starfield and Baldur's Gate soon and all this stuff. So thank you so much for watching the 144th episode of the Sideskip Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. That's Ted. And we will see you next week. We promise. We'll be there. We swear.